Hey guys, welcome to today's FindTheBestCarPrice.com video. Today we're going to look at the Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD. This is the LTZ version, four-wheel drive truck, and it comes in with a sticker price of $68,875. Let's get started with our tour.
And as we start our exterior tour, I'll give you a partial list of the safety features on this model. And of course, if you want to know more, so we don't make an hour to 2 hour video here, check out the link in the description of the video to the Red River Chevrolet website. As long as this truck remains in inventory, you can click on that and get anything you want to as far as information about the truck goes. LED headlights, LED fog lights. And I'll give you a good look at the design for 2021 here on these headlights. Really looking very nice. Nice chrome grille here. And of course, that's the thing about a 2500 HD Chevrolet. It looks ultra muscular, very strong looking front end, and really a strong looking truck overall. One thing that is definitely spectacular about this truck, the 15 different camera views and angles that you can use, not only to benefit in towing, but just in overall use of the truck, checking your surroundings. If you think something unusual is going on with somebody behind the vehicle, you can take a look at that. You can look at the bed, you can zoom in. There's all kinds of great stuff. And I'm showing you all those multiple views on the screen right now, just so you can see what is there. And of course, quite a bit of chrome here. You've got those, while they're not chrome, you do have the black tow hooks down here so that if you run across a Ford or a Ram that has been stuck out in the mud somewhere, you can use your 2500 HD to pull them right out and tell them what truck maybe they should go buy. Now, I'm not trying to put down the other brands or anything like that. Just having a little bit of fun there. But tell me down in the comments, guys, which one of these trucks do you prefer and why? Always curious to know. Okay, guys, let's talk a little bit about the heart and soul here, the 6.6 liter Duramax diesel engine under the hood. I'll give you the numbers as far as horsepower and torque goes. And in the event that this is the very first time you've ever seen something like this on YouTube and you're trying to learn about it and you're wondering, where's the gas mileage? Not required on these diesel engines, so I don't have those numbers to give you. They might be out there somewhere if somebody gets them, but they're not on the window sticker, so I don't have that readily available at the moment. Power is put to the ground through a 10-speed automatic transmission, and if you watch me regularly, you know that I just cannot help but mention one of my favorite features here, especially on something like this, where it's this high off the ground. The hood is going to be way up there as far as having to reach up and put it back down. You don't need to be looking for one of those manual stands to prop the hood up. You've got those struts right there. Great feature, and this is how I close this thing, just because I can't quite reach that far up. Not that terribly hard. Let's do that one more time. And of course, let that turbo diesel breathe properly. You do have active air right here. The vent can go allow air into that engine compartment, and of course through the large grille right here. Plenty of power, plenty of torque. Not going to have a problem towing and or hauling in any form or fashion. Okay guys, let's talk functionality here. Tire size, 275/70 wrapped around an 18-inch wheel. You're gonna have these nice large towing mirrors. Yes, because I'm asked about this one, I don't talk about it, so I gotta say it. Turn signal indicators built in to these power side view mirrors. Power for extending out for towing, pulling those back in. You can also use the power function to fold those in depending on your situation and or needs and or desires. Quite a bit of chrome here on your logos. You've got the 2500 HD chrome door handles, and you do have passive entry here, so as long as you have the remote with you, you can push that button right there on the driver and passenger side doors to lock and or unlock the interior. And let's talk a little bit about safety where that's concerned, because I've been asked about this before. The only way that function will work is you have to have the remote. And I'll show you the remote real quick here. As you can see what's on there, lock, unlock, you can lower that power tailgate panic button and remote start. I've been asked before, is it possible for somebody to walk up in traffic or when you're sitting in a parking lot to try and carjack you or something like that and just hit that button and unlock the vehicle? Not when this is inside, or not if they don't have it. Just something to know about. Now let's talk a little bit about what you won't find here. Obviously it's available, but you do have the side step, whether it's just the side mounted step or the power step. Don't have that on this particular model, but obviously it is available for getting in and out of the interior. You do have a grab handle at all 4 doors to help making that a lot easier. But one thing you do have here, you've got the bed step here on not only on the side, but also on the rear bumpers. Something I'm still kind of surprised that not all of Chevrolet's competitors have jumped on board with, at least not yet. And let's talk about functionality here with the bed of the truck. And like I mentioned, you've got the bed step here. Chevrolet made this bed step quite a bit deeper, so it's a whole lot easier to stick your foot in there and not really lose your footing, so to speak, because it used to be about to this point right here. You probably can't see that angle real well on the screen. Of course, to add to the rugged look of the truck, and it's not just a look, it is obviously rugged. The nice large tail lights here and the power tailgate, and you do have lighting all around the truck, not only here on the tailgate. I didn't mention it, but you also have it, but you probably saw it on the screen earlier, on those heated power side view mirrors. So you've got plenty of ability to light your surroundings, especially when it's dark or whatever you're doing in your given situation, early in the morning, late at night. Plenty of lighting. Cab light on the rear of the truck. And as I open the power tailgate, and we'll talk a little bit more about that shortly, you have additional lighting, not only with that cab light just above that power rear window, that power sliding rear window there on the truck itself. You've got your bed liner that comes with this truck, 12 different tie-down points, and here in the very rear of the truck, I like the positioning because the lights are not just pointed into the bed from the side, they're pointed towards the front, so you're going to have even more light right there. And I wish I had a dark enough environment to really show how that works. Not right now, maybe we can do that in a future video. You also have everything here to set up a fifth wheel or a gooseneck. And one of the things about the trailering system with this truck is that it has the ability to monitor tire pressure on your trailer up to 4 different tires. And I'll put the numbers on the screen as far as towing and payload and all that good stuff. But I want to show you something interesting here. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit the button on the power tailgate, and as you can see, well, obviously it goes back up, but just an interesting little feature that I noticed. Whether you use the button on the interior of the truck or you use the button here on the remote, here's what you have to do. And I'll use the remote to demonstrate this, because you have to hit it once and then a second time and then hold it down. But I want to show you what happens. So here's what I mean by this. I'm going to hit it once, a second time, and it starts to go up. Don't let go of that button, because as soon as you do, like you saw right there, it's going to lower back down. The same thing with the button on the interior. You can hit that once to bring the tailgate down, but you have to hold it down to bring it all the way back up until it's closed. So let me just demonstrate that one more time. Hit it once, twice. I'm going to hold that down, and that's going to allow the tailgate to go all the way and close. Otherwise, when you let go of the button, it's just going to come back down. Probably avoid a lot of frustration in case you buy one of these trucks by knowing that information. Of course, you're going to have not only that set up for the fifth wheel and the gooseneck in the bed already there ready for you to use, but also you have the receiver hitch right here for your trailer as well, if you're going to tow off the bumper, and everything you would expect here as far as all your connections for lights and all that good stuff, including here on the right-hand side of the bed, you have a power outlet right there, something we're starting to see on a lot more trucks these days, not only within the bed, but 1 or 2 even within the cab. So connectivity and being able to power whatever it is you need to use when you're out on the job site or wherever you're doing is not a problem at all. Okay guys, let's talk about the rear seat. And before I actually hop in and show you how much space there is back here, and by the way, the entire cabin is rather roomy and a lot of interesting little nooks and crannies and things like that for storage, including under the seats. And while this would really be considered a multitasker underneath here because you do have storage on both sides, you will also find the tools for changing a tire if you ever need to do that. Nice large door bins here. In fact, the front area where you could put a bottle or a large cup, whatever, you could also stick a fire extinguisher in there if you wanted to. It's that large, well, depending on the size of the fire extinguisher, but that is there nonetheless. In fact, there are actually 2, 4, 6 total cup holder potentials back here because you have the 2 cup holders here on the rear of the console. Also, the fold-down armrest has 2, and the door bins have 1 on each side as well. So Chevrolet believes your rear seat passengers are going to be very, very thirsty. You also have storage here in case they spill their drinks. You could put napkins or paper towels or whatever you want to in the rear storage area here on these seat backs if you wanted to do that. And like I said, you don't have any kind of a side step or anything here, but that makes getting in no problem when you just reach up here and grab the grab handles. Like I said, 1 at each door. So let me hop up in here real quick and close that door. And you've got the air conditioning vents here on the rear of the console to keep your rear seat passengers nice and cool during the summer, nice and warm during the winter. And speaking of warm during the winter, you also have heated seats back here as well. It would be nice to see heated and ventilated, especially down here in Northwest Louisiana where it's warm far more often than it's cool. 12-volt power outlet, you've got your USB ports there and some map pockets for storage. And like I said, there's plenty of room here. I mean, I am super comfortable, have plenty of space above my head. As you can see, I'm 5'10", and you can see, hopefully you can see on the screen how much space there is depending on the camera position, but you can definitely see my leg space. It is ultra comfortable back here for your rear seat passengers. But obviously, the main thing you probably want to know about is the front seat. Let's hop up and take a look. As I hop up here into the driver's seat, let's talk a little bit about something you're definitely going to want to check out in the description of the video, because there's so much there. I don't want to list it on the screen. So there's a full list of the LTZ convenience package as to relating to this truck and what those features are. So check that out when you're finished watching the video and you'll get to learn a little bit more. Over here to the left-hand side of the steering wheel, of course, all the controls for the lights, headlights, taillights, all that good stuff, turning on your exterior lighting, not only the headlights and the taillights, but also that exterior lighting that I gave you a brief look at earlier, including the cab light and the lights in the bed. I wish it was dark enough for us to really give a good example of that, but just one of those things on a daytime shot video. Maybe we'll try and do that in the future, or maybe I can get a picture. We'll see what we can do with that. But everything is there. Like I said, you do have the towing mirrors, the buttons for controlling that, for extending those in or out, found here on the driver's door panel where you would expect that to be, and hopefully you have a good view. I don't know if you can see that from where the camera is positioned, just hitting that button to fold them in and fold them back out. No changes to the dashboard for 2021, but as you can see, still a very tastefully done dashboard. Steering wheel mounted controls. You've got the column shifter here, and on the left hand side of the steering column, if your Chevrolet Silverado is so equipped, you've got the turn signal stalk right there, and that's what you use when you're driving down the road, when you're turning right or turning left, changing lanes to the right and left. If you're going right, you're going to push that up. Hear that clicking sound? You'll also see an arrow pointing to the right, a green arrow. Same thing to the left when you push that turn signal stalk down. Yep, that's right. Just a little public service announcement for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with what that is actually for. You also will control your windshield wipers from right there. All kidding aside, if you made it to this point in the video, you might as well laugh a little bit. Thanks for watching to this point, guys. And one thing, if you hop into a truck like this, maybe you're borrowing it from a friend or whatever the case is, and the windshield is dirty. Typically, the button to run the windshield washer fluid is on the outside of the turn signal lever, not in this case, or wherever your controls are for that. In some vehicles, it's on the right-hand side, but not in these. What you're actually going to do is you'll see a button further in towards the steering wheel that will let you know. It has a little sign on it that lets you know what it's for, but that's what you use to run your windshield washer fluid. Also, a very nice heads-up display, not just giving you how fast you're going or anything like that. There's the speedometer is there, but also traffic sign recognition. It also gives you your lane, so with a lane departure, all that kind of stuff, lane keep assist, that's actually displayed on there, so you can see where the vehicle is in the lane. And let's talk a little bit about the infotainment screen. Of course, that's where you're going to go in and set up your phone. You've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Wi-Fi, hotspot, all that good stuff. Get to your cameras here and all of your safety features, teen driver mode, valet mode, all that good stuff. It's so simple to use, and I know I say this in a lot of videos, but there are a lot of people out there who have yet to experience this kind of technology. In fact, they're scared of it. Don't be afraid of this technology, guys. If it's something you've never had before, I promise you can learn easily, not only at the dealership, but YouTube is chock full of videos that'll teach you how to use this, and once you start using it, you'll adapt quickly and you'll be glad that you did. And speaking of technology, here's something else. It takes some getting used to, but you have a rear view mirror here that has two personalities. You've got basic personality and you've got advanced. Okay, maybe nobody's ever referred to a rear view mirror as having personalities, but what you have is your typical rear view mirror, or you've got this little lever underneath. When you flip that forward, you use a rear view camera. It's not actually the rear view camera that you would use when you go into reverse. It is a different camera, but you have a view here that you can adjust, but it basically gives you a whole different perspective of what's going on behind you from a camera view. And that, I will admit, the first time I ever used one of those, it was in a Cadillac Escalade a couple of years ago, and it took a little bit of getting used to, but once I got used to it, I really liked it. Of course, you've got the controls for your radio. One thing I learned earlier this year with another truck, the truck maker added a radio knob for turning the radio on and off and adjusting the volume, and apparently people really like that. So you've got your knobs here, and of course you can control all of that through the infotainment screen as well. Your dual zone climate control right here, and all of your different features down here. I'll give you a look at that. You've got your hill descent control right there, hazard lights. I'm not a teenager, by the way. Hazard lights, let's get that correct. The button for opening and or closing that rear tailgate that we talked about earlier, and some of the other features here. Of course, you've got all of the controls for your trailer brakes and all that good stuff. And here is another one of those power outlets I mentioned earlier, 12-volt power outlet. You got your USBs right there, more storage, wireless charging right here, a couple more cup holders. Like I said, Chevrolet knows that you and your passengers are going to be thirsty. Okay, guys, we're out on the road, and I'm just going to drop the hammer real quick. It may not sound like much, but I'll tell you what, I got to get on the brakes a little bit here because the speed limit's 55 and I am not doing 55. Don't want to get pulled over and get a speeding ticket here, but I'll tell you what, one thing about a large vehicle like this, it can be very deceptive, not only with its overall size, but also the fact that you're pretty high off the ground. So there's a lot of deceptiveness there as to how fast you're really going. I've got the heads-up display right in front of me, so that makes it very easy for me to see that, but it sure didn't feel like I was going as fast as I was. Now, this being a heavy-duty truck, what is the overall ride quality like? Well, unless you have a decent amount of cargo or a heavy trailer you're pulling, it's going to be a little bit rough. You're going to notice some of the bumps on the road, but I'll tell you what, I've ridden in other trucks that I've reviewed in the past. I won't say who they're made by, but this truck definitely rides a lot better than those particular trucks do. And the truck is very enjoyable to drive overall. It doesn't feel too big. If somebody's maybe stepping into a truck like this for the first time, or maybe letting one of your kids drive it, or somebody's driving a truck that's never driven one this particular size and you're wondering, well, what's that going to be like to adjust to?
it's really not bad. I mean, it feels very comfortable. I don't feel that it's too big. So in my personal opinion, it wouldn't take any time at all to adjust to driving. And obviously, you know, parking it and all that good stuff, yeah, that can be a little more challenging, but with all the driving aids and the cameras and all that good stuff, that cuts down on the complexity of situations like that a lot. Change lanes here. We're gonna go up the road here. I'm gonna do something that I am trying to do more often in my videos, which is give a bit of an example of the turning radius. And if we don't get a good enough example where we make our U-turn up here shortly, then we'll go into a parking lot and do that. But I think that's gonna suffice. But overall, I have to say, I'm very impressed. It would be interesting to hitch a trailer up and see how this truck tows, but unfortunately, I don't have that option getting this from the dealership. But you never know what might happen in the future as far as those kind of things go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run up here real quick and we'll make a quick turnaround. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this on the camera, but I'm just gonna make my turn. And you can see, I did just a tiny bit there get over the center line there, but not too terribly bad. The turning radius, not bad on a truck like this. It definitely has improved a lot over the years as far as what it does. And like I said, acceleration is pretty surprising for a vehicle of this size, but obviously that's not the main idea to something like this.
To learn more about the model in today's video, visit the link in the description for a detailed comparison between trims and pricing for the vehicle we featured or any other vehicle you are interested in. These pages feature information such as our recommended trim level based on price, value, and features. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. We look forward to seeing you next time.